Hello, hello. My name is Ashley Kirkwood with the Speak Your Way to Cash podcast. I'm also the founder of the company Speak Your Way to Cash, where we help speakers, experts, authors, entrepreneurs, and thought leaders to start at the top of the speaking market instead of working your way up from the bottom. And one of the things that I wanted to talk to you guys about today briefly was how you all can thrive in any economic climate, some strategies speakers can use to survive the recession if that is coming, or if another pandemic wave comes, or if the times just get hard. Like, how do you keep going? How do you survive? What are some strategies you can use to get through that? And I want to first start off and say that I understand some people are feeling really good right now with where they're at in business and in life. And then there are other people who are very concerned about what's coming and what is going to happen. And one of the things that I will say is that the best thing you can do for your business, first strategy number one, the best thing you can do for your business is decide before tragedy strikes who you will be. Decide before things get hard, before revenue takes a dip, if it does, before things get a little bit harder, before it gets more challenging to sell, before you have to make some decisions about what to cut and what to keep, before all of that happens, decide who you are going to be. Because I will tell you right now, the most inspiring people are not the people who go, from step A to step B to step C to millions. It's the people who go from step 1 to step -50 and then get back to step 1 and then hit step 50 and then maybe have to go back to step 10 and then go back up to step 100. Like, it is not going to be a straight line to the top, and it's not a straight line to the top for anyone, despite what you see. So you may see people winning every single time, but that does not mean that they've never had a struggle or a triumph or lost something. It doesn't mean that. And in fact, you all, because I know we're on the Speak Your Way to Cash podcast. Hopefully you all are enjoying this brand new mic. Hopefully the sound is good. But we're on the Speak Your Way to Cash podcast. So a lot of you know who I am. Maybe some of you even look up to me in your businesses and you're like, man, Ashley's killing it. This is happening for her. This is happening for her. So I want to first start off by letting you all know about some losses that I've taken, if that's all right. I just want to be really transparent and clear. Okay. Because there are some losses that I've taken. My first business, I was like, I don't know, maybe 5 or 6, and I was selling handkerchiefs to women at the church. And I was making these handkerchiefs and selling them at the church. Now, I thought the handkerchiefs were amazing, but really they were really raggedy, y'all. And people were buying them because, I was a kid. They were like, she has the courage to ask, all of these things. So that would probably have been my first business. But then, when I was in college, I started an event planning company, and I planned events for all these celebrities. And I thought that meant that it was going to be incredible. I was like 19, planning events in the Hamptons, working Fashion Week, doing all the things with a PR company that I know of that's actually still around. But I wasn't making any money. It was fun and the pictures were cute, but I wasn't making any money. So that business did not last. So then I went and was like, well, what am I really good at? I've always gotten great jobs, so maybe I could be a career consultant. And I started doing career consulting and resume writing. And the resumes that I wrote were really good. People were getting jobs. People were able to negotiate their salaries, all the things. That business didn't last. One thing I did in that business, though, that gave me more hope than the previous business was I couldn't get on Groupon, but I got on the competitor of Groupon, and I started selling my resume services. And overnight, we made hundreds of resume sales. So the sales was like, oh my goodness. So I just need to get more eyes on my stuff. Now I'm learning a little bit about digital marketing. Same time, my day job was a digital marketing manager and consultant for cars.com. So my job in we're talking about 2011, maybe 2011, 2012. I was a digital marketer for cars.com. And I had to convince car dealerships. This is while I had my own business on the side. My day job, my 9 to 5, was convincing car dealerships they needed to sell their cars online because online was the way to go. It was the wave. It was the move. And do y'all believe there were businesses at that time that were like, no, we don't need to be online. We don't need to sell cars online. So I'm doing this during the day, being rejected during the day because my clients weren't listening to me. They weren't taking the coaching and the feedback that I was giving them. I was coaching even back then. And at night, I was running this resume business. I found a website to get my stuff on. I was getting sales, but how many of you all know getting sales isn't where the client journey ends? You have to deliver on all that. And my prices were so low. We're talking like 99, maybe $150. But I was getting hundreds of these things and working around the clock through the night to do resumes. It was horrible, horrible. And I told my husband, I was like, babe, I want to have this business, and I'm going to do this business, and I'm going to do resume writing, and I'm going to leave my day job and do resume writing. And my husband was like, okay, cool. He's always been down. He's like, all right, fine. I'll keep my job. I'll keep working. You do what you got to do. Because my husband he worked in the school system. He worked for private nonprofits. He did executive coaching for executives who wanted to work with underserved youth and really get them to the next level. So he did all of that stuff, but he wasn't leaving his job. And even though he believed in me and allowed me to leave that job, I was not able to make enough money in that job to sustain leaving. So I had to go back to work. I didn't leave for very long. And I quickly went back to work. And I say all that to say, the businesses that you see now, the way that we learned pricing, the way that we operate, the way that I can try things and be confident even if it doesn't work, is because I have failed before. And so I know that I can come back from some things. And some of you are hesitant to try new things or to jump out or to invest in your business because you're scared of it not working. And I want to be very, very, very clear with you. When something doesn't work out the way you don't want it to work out, when you face rejection, the only thing you're doing is aligning yourselves with some of the greatest people on the planet. Literally. I mean, Jesus himself was rejected. Hello. Like, regardless of your religious belief, he's a pretty famous dude. And the truth of the matter is, like, there are so many people that have faced rejection. I told you all that tomorrow we're meeting with our Speak Your Way to Cash Academy clients, and we're walking them through a sales roadmap so that they have some sales strategy that'll really help them to grow their speaking businesses. And the first session we're doing is about rejection. And in preparing for this session, I looked up some of the great people that have been rejected. Okay. And these are some great people. Like Walt Disney was rejected. The guy who created the Lamborghini faced rejection. The guy who created Alibaba couldn't even get a job. He was rejected from like 30 jobs before creating Alibaba. Hello. Like every single time you face trials, you face tragedies, and you don't quit, the only thing you're doing is aligning yourself with the most successful people on the planet. So the very first thing you're going to need to do to survive a recession, to survive another pandemic, to survive another insert bad thing here, right? Or insert unexpected event here, is to decide who you're going to be before the tragedy comes. Because after you decide who you're going to be, when it comes, now you have the choice of stepping into who you said you were, of making sure that you are not a liar. That's what you have the option to become. You don't quit. You don't waver. You feel all the feels and you keep going anyways. Step 1, feel all the feels and keep going anyways. Like that's number 1. Who are you going to be when it gets hard? And you know what happens when you overcome something, when you face public embarrassment, when you face public shame, when you get rejected, when people tell you you're not smart enough, you're not good enough, you're not pretty enough, you're not strong enough, you're not intelligent enough. Do you know what happens? When you don't quit, recognize that who you said you are is more powerful and potent in your life than who they said you weren't. You realize that you can be great and people cannot see it, and it doesn't dilute your greatness if you don't believe what they say. You're going to have to, in your mind, it doesn't matter what is going on around you, the space that is sacred for you is your mind. Period. And so regardless of what is going to happen next, you need to determine, are you going to thrive? Are you going to withstand? Are you going to be resilient? Are you going to keep your resolve? Are you going to lead in a time when others can't? And the truth of the matter is, if you believe that you are an integral person, you are a person of character, you are a person that can help people get results, you are a person that is called to lead, you are a person that can do great things, you are a person that has ideas and insights that can help somebody else, you have to keep going. Because there's a lot of talk about scammers and this and that and all the things, blah, 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 blah. The truth of the matter is that you believe you are an integral business professional. And if you care about your clients, don't leave them to the wolves. Don't leave them to people who will keep going regardless because they don't care about them. You have to keep going. You have to keep selling. You have to keep pushing, because now rest if you need to. Take doctor's orders if you need to. But the reason why we need more good people to get bolder is because the people that have no integrity will not shut up. And so it is our job as the stewards of integrity, as people who believe in our clients' goodness, who believe in what we're doing, to make sure the right people know about it so they can get the transformations that they need. And every time there is hard times, there's going to be people who are going to help others get through it. And if you feel that you have the strength to do it, and if you want to do it, then keep doing that. So that's number one. Number two, you're going to have to diversify your sales revenue. Diversify where your money is coming from. This doesn't mean start a whole lot of new businesses. It could mean serving clients of different sizes. And if right now every single client you're talking to is like, I don't have the budget, I don't have the money, I don't have the this, I don't have the that, then you need to figure out what are the industries, what are the people that thrive in all economic climates, and how can you align yourself with what they need and what they expect and what they are looking forward to having. How can you do that? That's something to consider as well. How can you do that? How do you align yourselves with people that need your services? There's a difference between, need and want. How do you align yourself with people that need your services? The other thing, stay consistent. And if consistency is hard, schedule consistency. Some things people are like, it's so difficult for me to do. I can't stay consistent. I got so much going on. Well, that's a personal problem, but your business requires consistency. So if you can't be the one to bring that business consistency, then you need to put someone in place who can. Because, I'm really big on us figuring out what does the business need. And that may be different from what we personally need. Like me as an individual, I need self-care. My business is an entity. It doesn't. So if I need self-care, but my business is an entity that doesn't, that business needs revenue, the heartbeat of a business is revenue, then I need to put the right people in place to give the business what it needs. Okay? Another thing that I will say before we head off of this short, quick in and out live. You got to get you cannot be a slave to your emotions and ask people to trust and lead you and follow you. You're going to have a system for handling your emotions and the things that you feel, and get really good about recognizing when you're not in a good place. This isn't about don't have feelings, don't feel things, no, it's not that. But it is about how can I recognize when I need a pause, and what is the action plan to make sure my clients, my family, and my business doesn't suffer. Because there are some of you all that are on fire. But if you aren't careful, you'll end up burning others because you're not taking care of yourself. You can be on fire and not burn other people. That just requires you being super self-aware in the real sense. And so, do you have a therapist? Do you have someone that you can be 100% transparent and honest with? Do you have good friends that will let you be vulnerable with them? Because here's another thing, guys. When times get hard, sometimes people, they get very vulnerable. They start sharing all their problems online and all this stuff happens. I don't always think that's healthy. Vulnerability can easily be misunderstood. And in fact, when you share something vulnerable, you should only share it if you are okay with it being misunderstood. So if there is something you are dealing with personally and you aren't sure whether or not it's too raw, it's too new for you to share it publicly, because if someone were to misunderstand you or say something about it or try to use it against you, you'd be ready to fight them. Do not share that thing. The test is for me. The testimony is for y'all. So once I have processed what I have been through, I can then share it because I am strong enough for it to be misunderstood. I don't prematurely share with the internet. Love y'all, but y'all ain't my therapist. You're not my husband. You're not my best friends. You're not people who, you know, some of you may genuinely love me, but you don't, we don't have that type of relationship where you owe me that respect, right? And so because of that, when you be careful what you share, because you don't always need the collective's advice. Sometimes you need to pray. Sometimes you need a therapist. And so you want to have an action plan in place. When I start feeling like this is what I do. This is my self-care plan. This is how I'm going to handle it. This is who I'm going to speak to. This is how I'm going to pray. Because the worst thing you can do is not think about it like everything's fine. Everything's always going to be fine. And then something bad happens and you're like, dang, I don't have any plan in place because I didn't prepare for this. You preparing for things to not go how you want them to go is not the same thing as you speaking negativity over your life. And I do think this is where, you know, I grew up in church. It's like, don't say that. If you say that, something bad gonna happen. No. Why do you get life insurance? You know, why do you have an estate plan? I'm not planning on leaving anytime soon, but I have to prepare. That's a part of being mature. I have to prepare for when things may not go my way, so that if and when things don't always go my way, I have a plan in place. That's okay. So get your plan together, write it out, figure out how you're going to analyze where you're at in life, and then make a plan. So hopefully this gave you some ideas. It was helpful to you. Number one, you want to make sure when planning for things to not happen along your way, one, you want to make sure you decide who you're going to be, regardless of where things come from. Two, you want to diversify the streams of revenue in your business and or the clients that you're serving. If you're already hearing pricing objections as the predominant objections, are you serving the right audience? How do you tighten up your message? And here's where the power lies in this. If you have the right mindset and the right perspective, even if you don't reach your goals, you can then start looking at it like, but I got all this data. And what is the data telling me? And what did they respond to? And what did I write on my page the last 30 days? And was I really speaking to the person that I want to respond to this? Also, just a bonus, you all should know that in every single economic climate, there are people that are thriving. Every single one. Every single one. And whenever there is something that is negative that happens, there are industries that need to serve them. If you need to align yourself, the third thing was not just diversifying your revenue streams, but aligning yourself with industries that will thrive regardless of the economic climate. How do you do that? How do you do that? And who are those folks? But hopefully this was encouraging and inspiring. It was just prompted by some things that I'm hearing from our clients and others. And I want you all to be prepared and know that, you know, we got your back at Speak Your Way to Cash. We've been through the pandemic. I was around during the recessions. I was, you know, like we've been through some things. I've had a business that failed. I've had businesses that have succeeded. I've had businesses that have made tons of money. I've had businesses that didn't make a lot. I've worked through the night, and I've been able to enjoy some peace and time and not have to work as much. I've hired, I fired, I have been hired and been fired. Like all of those things have happened. We're 5 years in to full-time entrepreneurship, but we've owned businesses for for the past 15 years of my life. I've always had some type of a business on the side. So we are not, you know, I'm not new to this, but I'll tell you guys something else and I'll leave you all with this. Every single time you fail and get back up, all you're doing is building your confidence muscle. That is literally all you're doing. When you fail and you get back up, all you're doing is you're proving to yourself that you won't quit. There are some people, I recently had a situation, I proposed a $200,000 contract and it got declined. And I put a timer on it. I was like, all right, I'm gonna be mad about this for about an hour, because they verbally agreed. Then the contracting process fell through and the company backed out. And I was like, man, I can't believe this. This is really sad. But I'm gonna give myself an hour and then I'm gonna get back at it. And I'm going to take the win in this, because the company got all the way to the point where I talked about it, gave them the pricing and all of that. And then they verbally agreed and then backed out last minute because a higher up didn't want to do something or whatever. But the win in that was, if they will get all the way to the final stages, I can get another company across the finish line. The win in that is, when I asked them why they didn't move forward, they actually told me it was, you know, it was a higher up and they wanted to look at some other consultant. I got some data about why they said no. The other thing is, I know they want to work with me. It's just a matter of how. So there's always a way to take the win. Yeah, it hurt, but that is not about to rule the next 5 years of my life. One of the most powerful things I heard TD Jakes say was that women have to recover quicker. It was at a women's conference, so men need to recover quicker too, but it was at a women's conference. And he was like, you all have to learn how to recover quicker. And that changed the game for me because I was like, oh, this is so good. Because I have so many millions of people that are just waiting on me to show up in their path so they can work with me. I cannot allow a temporary defeat to distract me from my next. Clearly, because here's the thing, my belief system around not getting what I want is always everything happens for me. Everything happens for me. Nothing happens to me, no matter what. So if that's my belief system, and if that is truly what I believe, how I operate when failure knocks on my door, how I operate when loss knocks on my door is different. It doesn't mean I don't feel loss. It doesn't mean I don't feel lack. It does mean I do not quit. And it does mean it doesn't define me. In fact, I'm going to take the win in it. And then I begin to tell myself, man, if that didn't come through, it must be because there's another opportunity that your time needs to be freed for. And even though that is a belief system I have too, it also doesn't mean you don't go back and look at that sales call and figure out where you missed it. It doesn't mean I don't go back and look at who I pitched and figure out why was I talking to job titles that weren't at the top of the chain? Where did I miss it there? It doesn't mean I don't look at the org chart of the organization and figure out how to go in at a higher level. It doesn't mean I don't get the name of who they report to and repitch them at a later time. It doesn't mean any of that. It means that I do all of that too. It means that I take responsibility for the fact that I'm not perfect and I may have messed something up along the way, but it also means there's a lesson in this. And then I start to look at my team. Am I prepared for what I pitched for? Do I have the people in place to fulfill the contractual obligation? Have I had the conversations that I need to have? Because I will tell you all, every time I've set a goal without having reached that goal, I never know exactly what the goal takes until I reach it. So all of you are saying, hey, I want to make $20 million. I want to make $10 million. I want to make $1 million. But until you've made that money, you don't necessarily know what it takes. And if you aren't prepared for what you're praying for, what you're saying to your future is that you don't believe it's going to happen. And so absolutely, radical self-accountability is always going to be in this. But at the same time, I'm not going to let it derail my future for the long term. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. And so I want you all to think through who you're going to be regardless of what comes over the next couple of years. I also want you to think about because here's what happens. People with better information thrive in all economic climates. And so you need good information. You need to be getting coaching from people who understand the climates, who understand corporate at a deep level, and who've worked it, who've been executive level in these organizations before. And I want you to come to Speak Your Way to Cash Live. Speak Your Way to Cash Live is our 3-day event in November 2022. You can get your ticket at speakyourwaytocashlive.com, www.speakyourwaytocashlive.com. It's literally going to change your life. It is such a good event. And you can, if you're on Instagram, the link's in my bio. Everyone else, you need to get your ticket to this event. We have 115 speakers already registered. So you can go to speakyourwaytocashlive.com, www.speakyourwaytocashlive.com. Let me coach you for 3 days, along with an incredible team of experts and consultants on how to land your first or next 5 or 6 figure corporate speaking contract. We want to make sure that you're there. We want to make sure that you are getting what you need. And we want to make sure that you're getting good information to go into this next phase of life. Because the better information you have, the more prepared you are, the easier it is to execute, because you know what you're doing is in line with industry standards, if not above industry standards. Because what we hear from clients, because we've referred speakers to clients, is I don't have to worry about your speakers. I don't have to worry about your entrepreneurs or your referral. You know how this works. They have their stuff together. They know what to do. And so I want to see you at Speak Your Way to Cash Live. If you thought this live was helpful, share it with someone else. But I want you all to get your tickets to Speak Your Way to Cash Live now before tickets sell out, especially if you want to come in person. 115 seats are gone. All last year, we sold just under 90 tickets. You know what that means? because they mentioned 5 months. It means this year we've far surpassed what we've sold last year, and the event is 5 months away. So what does that mean for you? If you wait until the month before, we will be sold out and you will not be able to attend, and you'll have to wait a whole nother 12 months to attend our next live event. That ain't what you want. That ain't what you want. We got a 7,500 square foot space, an incredible lineup of speakers, an incredible lineup of activities, an incredible lineup of just everything's amazing. Our speakers are off the chain. Our sponsors are off the chain. Like, it is going to be a life-changing experience. You can read all about it at speakyourwaytocashlive.com. But if you need to know how to grow your business and you want to know how to land some of those larger clients that won't be dealing with financial scarcity, right? If you want to know how to land them and how to do business with them, then that's the only conference that you should be attending on this topic. It is the best one for you based on our results and how we get down over at Speak Your Way to Cash. So hopefully we'll see you there. Yes, we are growing. I am very excited. She says, Speak Your Way to Cash Live. I'm so excited for it. I'm so excited as well. So if you don't have your ticket, or if you have your ticket already, I can't wait to see you. Invite a friend. But we'll see y'all a little bit later.